Do you have something inspiring to say? Have you always known that your voice can contribute to the world? Is now the time? Yes, now is the time. The world is waiting for you. Welcome to the Inspired Choices Network Open Mic Spotlight Show. Today, we have an inspiring guest who is ready to share their voice with the world. Now, on to the show.
Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am Christine McIver. I am the host of the Open Mic Spotlight Show today, and we do have another guest. Actually, we have a couple, and I'm so thrilled to bring them to you, and I'm so thrilled to jump into this conversation. We are going to be talking with Freyja and Michael Inanna, and we are going to be speaking about relationship alchemy, transmuting shame and loathing into joy and passion. And before I bring these two beautiful people on, I want to just read their bio to you. And if this doesn't pull you in, I don't know what will. So born into a polygamist community, Freyja spent her life entrenched in a deeply patriarchal society. She excelled as an RN, midwife, natural healer, and mother of 12, serving both within and outside of her religious community. Reclaiming her divine power 7 years ago, she drew in her perfect partner, Michael Inanna, who is a Reiki Master engineer. Together, they have created a sacred partnership, shedding the restrictions imposed by society and religion and stepping into their true passion and highest calling, Integrative Orgasmic Healing, creating deep healing and powerful transformation on the emotional, energetic, body levels. They awaken divine goddess in every woman and sacred warrior in every man. Oh my God, just the writing of that changes, like my body is just vibrating right now. There is so much yumminess in that write-up. I can't even imagine what I'm going to be like at the end of this show. You can connect with them at their sanctuary. If I'm mispronouncing, I apologize. Inanna Sanctuary, that's INNANNASANCTUARY.com. And please, please, please be sure to stick around because they have a special bonus that they're going to be offering everyone who's listening live or the replay of today's show. So, I know my pronunciations are not the greatest, but I try. So welcome both of you so much to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. It is Inanna. That's fine. It's an unusual name, yeah. Inanna.
Inanna. Okay.
And Inanna was a Sumerian goddess, and we identify pretty strongly with the goddess, and so we've taken that name and as our own personal names, and this is the name of our sanctuary.
Yes, and Inanna was a fully integrated goddess, like integrated the shadow side, integrated sexuality, and goddess of birth, death, rebirth, all of that. So it felt perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. I love it. Thank you. That will definitely help my brain to remember how to properly pronounce that. So, yes, very, very good. So, we're so thrilled to get into this conversation, and I think where we need to begin is how your bio reads is really start with Freyja and being in this polygamous community. So can you begin setting the stage for everything that, where this started and to bring us forward?
Yes. I was born into the fundamentalist Mormon community, which is a polygamous community. And so I was raised believing this, and it's highly sexually repressed as well. And so just growing up believing that women were supposed to be subservient and submissive, and how, we didn't have a voice, and if you had an opinion, you were wrong.
Yeah.
All of that is so deeply programmed into that society, and aspects of it are still programmed in the general society, the patriarchal society that we have in North America and many other countries. So I really truly feel that I chose to come into this life in that highly repressive society so that I had the full spectrum of compassion to be able to step into really fully empowering women and men to embrace their feminine side as well. Because the patriarchal society is so dishonoring of the feminine, and especially within men. But it totally relies on the repression of women and keeping them from their power, which means keeping them from their pleasure. So
right.
I really do feel I had to experience that deep level of repression to really understand and move into the deep work that I'm here to do.
Wow. What a gigantic choice you made, my darling.
Yes, it was.
Not for the weak of heart, for certain.
No.
So, have you? So, of course, people are even in the chat room like 12 children. So, you've physically given birth to 12 children, darling?
Actually, 13, because Michael and I chose to have a child together after I left. But I had 12 within the community before I left, and now I have 13.
Yeah, they're all hers. They're none of them are adopted or anything like that. No
none
twins.
of them are adopted. No twins
One at
either.
a time.
Well, yeah. God, woman, if somebody doesn't know anything about pleasure, it's going to be you. That's just phenomenal. I'm from a large family, but that's amazing. And looking at your picture, we would never imagine that you had that many children. But wow, what a gift you are. So, what was it for you? She is a miracle, and she creates lots of them too.
Yeah.
What was it for you, Freyja, that what was the catalyst to bring you out of that community?
Well, I had been on the verge of leaving for about 6 or 7 years before I finally left. But my belief that, what was really, really strongly taught in the community was, and by my husband especially, is that if you leave and you violate your commitments, your sacred marriage vows and all of that, then you will go to hell and you'll burn there forever. And so it was my fear that was keeping me there. And then a year before I left, my oldest daughter and her husband introduced me to an amazing self-empowerment program called Impact Trainings, and I went into that program, which is spiritually based, and it's just about really self-empowering. And what I realized during that time was that actually what was keeping me trapped there was my own beliefs, and that was all. My beliefs that there was any truth in it, and that I didn't deserve to be happy or to have a deep and meaningful relationship. So it was all fear-based decisions at that point. And once I really realized that, yes, I do deserve to be happy and I deserve a deeply meaningful, fulfilling relationship, then I was finally able to leave. And I did have some struggle in feeling like, well, maybe I can change it from within. But no, he didn't want to change. And you can't change someone who doesn't want to. In fact, you have no right to, because we all have free will choice. And to stay in a relationship where people are operating at different vibrational levels, the higher vibration has to come down to the lower vibration, and that wasn't going to work for me. It would have been so incredibly painful to lose that part of myself that I had just discovered. And I'd just begun falling in love with myself, and I would have had to completely submerge that again. So I couldn't, and I left.
Well,
and then I met Michael.
And then you met Michael. Well, I'm glad that you chose you, first of all.
Yes.
Congratulations, because that is not an easy choice. I too, at one point had to choose me, and it was No,
We
it
all
was the
do.
best choice ever. We all do. That's
Yeah.
right, Michael. So now Michael comes into the picture. Now, Michael, tell us about this Reiki engineer. That's a fascinating. I've never seen those two titles together. So you have to enlighten us about you.
Yeah, well, I didn't start as Reiki. I started as an engineer. Really, I was also a Mormon, but I wasn't a polygamist. I was in the more conventional or more mainstream group, and I was raised in that in the South in the 60s and 60s and 70s, and so I didn't have much of a chance on getting in touch with my authentic self. And the mainstream religion is not like it's not quite as there's a different environment than the polygamist, but it is repressive as well. And many religions we feel are that they deny sexuality, they guilt it, they shame it, and sexuality is such an important part of who we are, as humans. And they help us connect to divinity, to the divine. Sexuality does. And so, but anyway, I not only did I take on my parents' religion, I took on my father's career, and so disconnected from who I really was. I did things because I felt that I should. Everything I did because I should, and lived a life of because basically a construct that others set up for me, but I never really had any say on it, what it looked like. And I was a good engineer. I worked in the Navy. I was in the Navy. I worked on nuclear power. I worked on nuclear reactors. I was a guy that ran the nuclear reactor and I repaired it as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it was highly technical. And then I went on to work at 2 different national laboratories and working on nuclear reactors and linear accelerators. And I mean, that sounds like linear. It's kind of funny to see how they portray linear accelerators in popular TV. But basically, they're all about research, and it's very technical. And I did well in that. And then I went into semiconductor, and I went into which is chips, making the chips that run our computers and our phones and everything. And from there into medical equipment, and that was my first real connection and introduction to healing people. Was working on I was healing the machines that were healing the people. I was the factory representative, the engineer who maintained the radiation oncology equipment. People are getting radiation treatments, and those machines break, and they need to have their treatments on time, in a regular pattern. And so I had, it was a lot of stress, but it was rewarding because I felt like I was, for the first time in my life, I was starting to be involved in healing people and connecting with that and how important that was for me. And anyway, that's when I started to shift. Got into that program about the same time that I got into Reiki.
We met the same program I was talking about.
Yeah, that impact training program. Was wonderful as well for me to finally get in touch with who that structure, realizing I was in this structure that I didn't build. And this is my life. Why am I in somebody else's structure, if you will?
Right.
And so starting to look around and say, well, you know what? I don't really want to be here. This is great for somebody else, but I don't want to be here. And getting in touch with that and for the first time starting to live my life for myself from a space of true authenticity. And Reiki was a part of that, and then the other healing modalities that we took on as a couple and got in touch with have just transformed my life and how I show up in life and how I serve.
Mhm.
Okay. So what was it like when the two of you met at this course?
Oh, it was
amazing.
What a way to court somebody when you're going through a program of expansion and growth, and you get to do it together. That was marvelous.
Yeah, it was like when I finally left the religion in my relationship, I wrote in my journal the kind of relationship that I deserve to draw into my life, the kind of life partner, and how that would feel. And about 2 weeks later, Michael asked me out, so that was like manifestation.
Yeah.
Ask and you shall receive.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a time
That
of
is fabulous.
great
Oh my
expansion and
gosh.
growth.
That's fantastic. Well, okay, now we've got a really good base. I love it. I've got a really good base of each of you, and I understand where you've come from. When we come back from our first break, we're going to jump into the topic and this relationship alchemy that the two of you have been creating together, and we'll really get deeply into the topic. So stay tuned, everyone. We're going to be continuing our conversation about transmuting shame and loathing into joy and passion with Freyja and Michael right after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
Do you have something inspiring to say? Would you like a taste of being one of our inspired hosts? Get on the air on the Inspired Choices Network Open Mic Spotlight Show. The Open Mic Spotlight Show is your time to shine and inspire our global audience. Shows air at 9 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday each week. Claim your spot today. Simply contact our network owner at info@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Forget the days of 5 minutes of fame. Now you can have 55 minutes of fame.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The pleasure of business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
You are listening to the Open Mic Spotlight Show here on Inspired Choices Network. To call in and ask questions, call 815-880-8255 in the U.S., 613-800-8736 in Canada, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the show.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Open Mic Spotlight Show. We have two amazing guests, and I'm just chomping at the bit to hear the next segment of this show. We have Freyja and Michael Inanna, and we are going to be talking about how they are creating relationship alchemy and bringing that to people. So, guys, take us through the next step. What is this transmuting shame and loathing into joy and passion?
Well, thank you. Yes, by transmuting, what we're talking about is transmuting your own reality. So, when we say that, we talk about releasing the shame, releasing the trauma. that is stored in us so that we can exist in a state of joy and passion. Because those are what block our joy and passion.
And it's actually stored in the body on 3 levels: the physical, the emotional, and the energetic levels in the body. And so to really heal it and release it, you have to release it on all 3 levels. So that's what we create. And any emotion or trauma, any of those things can be, you can take the energy from that, you move the energy, and you can transmute it into something that serves you.
Right.
And anything that's holding that negative energy is no longer serving the body and actually creates dis-ease in the body. And so it really creates even physical disease sometimes when it's a severe enough emotion and an intense enough emotion stored for a long enough period of time.
Yeah, but it serves to block. It serves to block us from our authenticity. It serves to block us from our relationships, from our success. It feeds the dysfunctional scripts that we've been fed as from our earliest years. Whether that is poverty consciousness, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I always screw this up, or I always, I can never have a good relationship, blah blah blah. These are all scripts that we've at some point have adopted, and then the stored shame and trauma feeds that, and the ego is very helpful at combining the two in a toxic mix.
Yeah, it really prevents us from connecting with our authenticity. And one of the big scripts that we find is almost universal across the whole continent and even in other countries of the world is the whole sex is bad. And when you have that energy blocking your sexual center, that energy, the sexual energy center is also responsible for abundance and creativity and relationships and manifestation. And so when that all gets blocked up and repressed and held and it's uncomfortable there, then all of that gets blocked to some level.
Yes.
And it creates blocks to us really creating what we truly deeply desire in our lives.
Right. And we, people work at addressing these all the time. They go to talk therapy, they go to Reiki healings, they do different healings like that, and which are all wonderful, but they tend to address a single level at a time. And so you're dealing with your emotional level and talk therapy, and you feel like, I'm really getting somewhere, and then somebody does something that triggers you, and it's like you never did any work at all. It all comes flooding back.
Yeah, like for an example, you've got someone who is a victim of sexual abuse or rape, and they do talk therapy for months or maybe even years. They feel like they've healed it, and then they get physically triggered by the next partner that they have in their life because it's still in their body physically, and it just refills all that trauma. And like Michael said, it's like they never even did the therapy because it just comes back. It's just triggering.
Yeah, and eventually you can address that using other methods. It just takes really long, and so what we do, we by dealing with all 3 levels at the same time, what we have is not just results, but quick, fast, transformational
results. Like it's gone.
So what are your methods to get us to that position to change this so quickly?
Well, we combine. We don't have any it isn't that we have anything we're doing that's new. What we're doing is we're combining multiple modalities in a unique way that's creating this incredible shift. We combine. We use somatic body work. We use some hypnotherapy techniques and NLP techniques. We use the
Reiki energy.
The Reiki energy. We have one practitioner that is dedicated to using Reiki energy, while the other there's always 2 practitioners in this process. The other practitioner is more focused on the somatic part of it, and together they're coaching and working through the emotional side as well. And it's a really powerful process. It is mind blowing to experience and to create and to watch. And yes, absolutely massive transformation. And
we put it together in a unique way that we call Integrative Orgasmic Healing.
Yes.
And it's intense and it's powerful. It's in-person intensive retreats designed for that person or that couple. And it's like a miracle every session. It's intense, but it's so deeply transformational.
It's not a group thing. We have one client. That client has two practitioners at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's very intentional because the practitioners are representing the masculine energy and the feminine energy. And so it's, again, holding that balance. And it's intense. It's powerful. We are using, like I said, multiple modalities. Michael mentioned 3 of them. We're also putting in sound healing, aromatherapy, like multiple things that are our gifts to bring, and it's all very intuitive.
Yeah, and
to whatever is needed for that client.
Intuitive
in that
is
moment.
key. Yeah, and then intuitive is totally key to this whole process because every session is unique, every client is unique, and what's interesting to me is how often we learn. As we're working with the clients, we'll get a download of an entirely new way, a new approach that we'll use with the client, and we'll be like, wow, that works really well. And so that will be something in our toolbox that we can now use for other clients as well. But it is powerfully intuitive. We have to be completely grounded and focused and clear. We have to have a clear channel while we're working, and we bring in our guides and angels. We invite their guides and angels, and what happens in that room is magic, absolutely magical.
Yeah, and one of the key things is holding that safe, sacred container for the space so that, yes, it's the most deeply transformational and intense and vulnerable work they will ever do, and it's also the safest, most supported and held, unconditionally loved they will ever feel.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the feedback we get.
Just you're describing this. I can perceive the powerfulness of having 2 people so present with you, and the support. I can feel your energy around someone. And while you're talking about these different modalities, it also sounds like it's a very customized process for each individual.
Absolutely. Yeah. One client has more difficulty going into sorrow, the other more difficulty going into anger. Each client has their own unique lifetime where they've dealt with trauma and they've stored trauma, and there's an application process we meditate for this client ahead of time. There's a lot of preparation work we do as well, and when it all comes together in that room with that client, we love a job where we walk out of the room afterwards and we look at each other and we go, wow.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
So often, yeah.
That's bad. Yeah, it's like you look at yourself and you go, damn, I was on. That is phenomenal. Yeah. That is so wild. And so you do these, it's a retreat that someone goes on with you, and are they done in Costa Rica? Is that correct?
Yes.
We're here in beautiful Costa Rica. We love it here, but we love what it offers for our clients because the energy here is second to none. It is beautiful, amazing. It's
not only beauty and nature, but the energy is very, very light and clear. It's not that heavy, dense energy of fear that is pretty predominant in the U.S. at this particular point and in a lot of places. And it's like it facilitates the flow of energy to even to happen a bit easier and more quickly than where we were practicing in the U.S. before.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I mean, it is a beautiful location. I've been to Costa Rica a number of times, but to be there, to have an intentional choice of changing and healing, I can imagine it's extremely potent. Well, I can't believe we're already up to our second break. This conversation is going very, very quickly, but you're laying it out so beautifully for all of us. Thank you so much. When we get back from our next break, Freyja and Michael are going to tell us about a wonderful gift that they are actually contributing to all of us listening, either live or in the replay. So you don't want to miss out on that. So please do stay with us. We are speaking with Freyja and Michael, Inanna, and we're talking about relationship alchemy. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Do you have something inspiring to say? Would you like a taste of being one of our inspired hosts? Get on the air on the Inspired Choices Network Open Mic Spotlight Show. The Open Mic Spotlight Show is your time to shine and inspire our global audience. Shows air at 9 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday each week. Claim your spot today. Simply contact our network owner at info@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Forget the days of 5 minutes of fame. Now you can have 55 minutes of fame.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
You are listening to the Open Mic Spotlight Show here on Inspired Choices Network. To call in and ask questions, call 815-880-8255 in the U.S., 613-800-8736 in Canada, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the show.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you're just joining us, we are speaking with Michael and Freyja. Inanna. Oh my gosh, seriously. I need to take a pronunciation course. We're talking about relationship alchemy, transmuting shame and loathing into joy and passion. And before we get back into the conversation, I would love for you to share with our listeners the very generous gift that you are contributing to all of us listening.
Well, we are offering a free vibration-raising phone call, and that is a $333 value. To anyone who's really ready to go deep and discover their blocks and really gain clarity on how they can create their dreams as reality, as the powerful creators that they are, whether that's success in business, life purpose, like getting more tapped in with their life purpose, creating the most juicy, intimate relationship possible, whatever it is that they are desiring to create, we can help them really go deep and get in touch with where their energy blocks are that are preventing them and how to take the next step in clearing that.
And what life would be like without those energy blocks.
Yeah.
That is really amazing.
That's a great question. What would life be like without these blocks? That would be awesome. That is so generous. Thank you both so much. Wow. You better get ready. Your phone calls are going to start ringing off the wall.
Awesome.
Yeah, just contact us at trustedsanctuary.com, and we'll set up a time, the perfect time to spend some time with you.
That's fabulous.
Yes,
and we will.
Trust.
Anybody listening? Sorry, go ahead, Freyja.
That's trust@inannasanctuary.com. That's our email.
Yeah.
Get either one of them.
Wonderful. And anybody listening, if you go to the replay of this show, all the information is there, along with the links for you to where you can connect with them and email them directly, or connect with them at their website as well, which is inannasanctuary.com. So please do connect with them to find out more. So what do you have coming up? I know we have the Conscious Relationships Uncoupling and Parent Summit that you both were in, and it's been a great success. That summit goes on today as well. What else do you both have coming up in the future?
We have a podcast interview that we're going to be aired on in December, which is Taboo Talk Time with Dr. Eva. That's coming up.
Yeah, another exciting.
Yes, and we've got, currently we have a couple of clients here working with us that are creating absolute magic and miracles in their lives, and we're so excited for those sessions coming up this week. And we just love it. Love it.
It's an all-around experience for them. They're staying in a real authentic Costa Rican mountain setting with opportunities for hiking. There's hot springs nearby. So during their integration periods, which they get a day off in between each session with us, because they need it.
It's a deep integration process.
Yeah, it's a deep process, and an integration process is so important. So there's lots of opportunities to get out into nature. I'm looking out the window right now. I'm talking to the place is full of butterflies and growing things,
birds,
and flowers. And it's like a just beautiful, beautiful place. And so, but they have a hostess who takes care of them and feeds them, and there's a small town nearby they can visit, and we're close to the Chiripo Mountain, which is very popular.
Energy vortex. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, a very popular tourist destination where people come to hike it, and they love hiking here. There's a nature preserve right next to a nature preserve, and everything from monkeys and exotic species of plants, and so it's all. We put a lot of effort into making this the perfect experience for our clients, and we're excited to offer that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We also
the pictures on your website are just breathtaking.
Yeah, and this work is all individual. Each person, even when we work with a couple, their sessions are individual and confidential, and we really, really strongly believe, and this is how we work with couples, if they heal their inner trauma, they heal their shit individually, really, they get rid of it, then they can come together in a whole new way and being their authentic selves who they might not even have been in touch with at all before.
Mm-hmm.
And so rather than mirroring each other's traumas, then they're actually able to see each other and connect on an entirely different level and create that amazing, juicy, intimate relationship that they so desire and deeply deserve to have.
Yeah, what they can create together now is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's fabulous. But the choices that you're making available is phenomenal. Can you, without, of course, breaking any confidentialities, can you share with us some of the transformations that you've seen with individuals and couples?
Yeah, that's beautiful. We would really love it when people come to us before it's the falling apart, our relationship is over, it's going to end, this is a last-ditch effort. But we've also experienced an amazing, more than one, but an amazing couple that comes to mind who they were planning to do our program, but right now is not a great time for us time-wise. We're really busy, and then something happened that just blew everything up. That was their traumas of nearly 30 years and more, just created a breakdown that they just felt like they might not even be able to recover from, and they really even If we're going to survive, we have to do this now. They jumped in, they took it on, they came,
both
and
of them did.
Both of them 100% committed, and they created the deepest transformation that I have ever seen in a couple. And oh my God, they are in touch with their life purpose now. They're going forward. I mean, seriously, they had both experienced deep sexual traumas as children, and they were just mirroring each other's traumas and triggering each other, and there was so much pain.
Completely at war.
Completely at war with themselves and each other, and I don't know how, honestly, that they were still together when they came to us, really, honestly.
And we sat them down. We said, we're not here to heal your relationship. We're not promising anything like that. And the first thing you get to do is accept that maybe it's time to move on. But, acknowledging that and accepting that, let's work on your individual selves and then see what you can create together. Don't decide you know how this story ends. Don't decide you know what's going to happen. Just focus on your own healing and then see if there's something that completely new and amazing you can create. Because when you've been together 20, 30 years, you have covered so much ground. You've got to start over with somebody else. It's going to be a while before you can there's a lot of good, there's a lot of good there that you could use and going forward in your life. But, sometimes it's done, but sometimes it's just done. But if you can harness that, if you can mine that and going forward in a new healthy relationship, it could be amazing. And that was a perfect example of that.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're
inspiring.
So amazing.
What they're going to do with their lives is so exciting. And
and they've now really deeply got in touch with their life purpose. They're going to be working with other people to assist them in healing deeply as well. So it's like a ripple effect. So, we're doing this work. Now, they did their work. They were fully 100% committed to doing the healing they needed to do. And now they've created absolute alchemy in their relationship. And now they're going to take that and reach out to other people. And we love that.
They're going to change the world.
Wow.
They seriously are going to change the world. Another example that comes to mind is a woman in her 60s who chose to do our program. She just about didn't. And I said, okay, what are you afraid of? And she said, I'm afraid that I'm going to come and I'm going to do the sessions and I'm going to go home and I'm going to divorce my husband. And I told her, I can't promise you that won't happen. But it's either going to be he's going to see the transformation in you and want that for himself, or he's going to not choose out of it. And what will come of that is you will have the strength and the knowing in your body at a body level what it is that you need to do, whether it's time to move on or whether the relationship is going to work. And then you'll be able to choose what is in your highest good.
Mm-hmm.
And she did. She's not with that man anymore. He totally chose out, but he was using her in the first place, and it gave her the
it empowered her.
Yeah, to stand up for herself and stand in her no.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
so that leads me. Sorry,
what totally was
amazing
is it's totally up. Sure.
Yeah.
So that's what one woman chose. Can an individual from a couple come and have their transformation, and then even if the other person doesn't come to the healing, can there be success continued going forward with the couple?
Oh,
absolutely. We've seen that as well. It's all about whether the relationship is in alignment or not. And you might have an individual who their own personal pain and trauma that's stored in their body is actually what's keeping the relationship from blossoming. Really, you've got a woman or a man who's just as an example experienced sexual trauma as a child, and they're unable to really open up and be vulnerable and connect with their partner, and they want to, they just can't do it. And so once they've cleared those blocks and traumas, then they're able to really step into vulnerability and embracing their pleasure and being authentically who they are. Absolutely, people can do this on their own and create success.
Yes. Every client's unique. Every relationship's unique, and every session's unique. Like we always say, it's just no cookie cutter solution for people. They're all unique. And go ahead.
I really like what you both are saying. When the client first comes to you, is it's like, don't have an expectation that we're going to save this or that we're going to end it.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the only way you can move forward. If you're trying to patch holes in something that's irreparably broken, you're going to fail. But if you're ready to do your own work and then create something new and exciting together, or engage for the first time fully in what's already there, that's an entirely different thing. And you really have to stand in a place of knowing your priority, and the priority is your own work. Yeah.
And what we always tell people is that any two people who are in a relationship, if both people are absolutely 100% committed to doing the work that it takes to create the best relationship possible, they can do it. Mm-hmm. But it takes both people being committed, and that doesn't necessarily both people have to do our program or something like it, but they have to both be committed to do whatever it takes to create that amazing, powerful connection in that relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
And what doesn't work is we're not here to convince somebody to do something. We're not here, there have been people that have tried to put us in that space of, okay, here's my wife, she's got issues, fix her and send her back. And that person's going to be disappointed because we're not fixing her, we're empowering her, and he may not like the results.
I like that. So, you're not mechanics.
No.
Right. We're not. Because you know what? We're not broken. None of us are broken. We've just forgotten who we are. We've forgotten our power, but we never lost it. We never lost who we are. It's there. It's buried underneath a bunch of crap. And what we do is we remove the crap so you can get back in touch with the real you.
So essentially, Michael, what you're saying is you're crap cleaners.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Shit disturbers and
now you're talking. Wow, that is so good. Now, is there a lot when someone is going through this transformation? Is it always very deeply emotional? Is there a lot of tears? Is there
It's all about the emotions.
Yes.
I mean, you have to fully embrace, and we're not talking about experiencing trauma again. What you're going to do is you're going to go into the emotions that you didn't get to experience.
Yeah.
The ones that you stuffed because you had to. In the moment, you could not, either you were too young to deal with it, or it was not a safe place to deal with it, and so you had to stuff it. And that's going to be stuffed until you fully embrace, experience it, and then release it.
And the body is very, very intelligent. The body knows what it stored. It knows where it stored it. And it's just, it all comes up in its perfect time. In fact, we even see people who have things start to come up in the, few days or week before they begin the session. All these things get triggered in them, and then they start emotionally stirring things up, and things happen that bring up what it is that they need to release. And it's amazing.
We had a client, she said, we walked in the room, and before we could do our little spiel and get started, she said, well, I'm starting without you. she went right into it.
Coming up.
And we're like, okay, let's go.
It's amazing. It's truly amazing how we can, I know I've taken, many courses, and I'll be 2 or 3 days before the course begins, and all of a sudden, what I'm going to that course to learn, change, grow, expand, release starts to occur in advance.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's like, Okay. Sometimes it's like, okay, I really don't want to go through this because this is not fun. Because when you're actually with the teachers, when you're with the facilitators and you're going through it, you're being supported. But when you're on your own sometimes and you're going through it, it's like, okay, this is not fun. I don't know where I'm at right at the moment, and I can tell you that.
Yeah, and we're there for that. We're there for that. They've already committed to working with us, and if something comes up, they can send us a message or whatever and say, hey, this is coming up, like, ask questions, or, this is bringing up this fear, what do I do? And we're there. We're with them.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And I think this is the perfect time to bring up the final part of our process, and that's so you're exhausted, you're spent, you've released your body. You've got this big gaping
it's like a vacuum.
Energetic,
when you release all that energy, all those emotions, then it creates like an energetic vacuum in the body.
Right.
And so that's a very vulnerable place to be, where you're just going to suck in whatever energy you're exposed to next. And it would actually be not very accountable, like, of us to send people away in that state. So that's one of the reasons we call our work Integrative Orgasmic Healing, is we use orgasmic energy to refill that energetic void in the body with the highest vibrational energy that is possible to experience in human form. And that's only one reason for using it. The other is that, we've removed all this negative stuff from the body, but then we need to reprogram the subconscious beliefs, because whatever your subconscious beliefs are, even if you intellectually know better, whatever is in the subconscious mind is what you're going to create and draw in. So when you're in the state of orgasm, the ego cannot exist.
Gone.
It's gone. It only exists in the past and in the future.
It cannot exist in the present.
Yeah, it can't exist in the present. So in that state, we're feeding people these powerful affirmations that they have chosen ahead of time, or whatever comes up in session. And they're very, very powerful affirmations that if they really believed them on a cellular level, it would change their lives completely. And have you ever done mirror affirmations, where you're standing there looking in the mirror and you're saying, I am beautiful? What is your ego saying at that moment?
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's gone. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't believe you. And in the state of orgasm, the ego's gone. It can't say that. It's actually going into your body at a cellular level and reprogramming you. And so, because whatever you believe on that subconscious level is what you're going to create, it changes people completely. And one of the most beautiful things I've experienced with a client is, we always do a little outtake after the session. And one of the questions we ask is, what is it that you are aware of or got in tune with during this session that you didn't know before, that you weren't aware of before? And she said that I love myself.
How awesome.
Just so beautiful.
That is so phenomenal. I really get that the two of you have so much to share and so much to contribute in the world, and you are doing amazing work. I'm so grateful that we connected today, and that you're doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's been an honor to have both of you, and I really get that, when you're connecting with both of you, that there is transformation that happens, whether it's in person or it is over a phone call. So everyone, please do connect with these two beautiful beings, and connect with them at their website. Again, you can email to set up your free session at trust@inannasanctuary.com, and of course connect with them at their website, inannasanctuary.com. Thank you both so very much. I wish you all the success in the world, and I look forward to connecting with you really soon, because I'm going to be emailing you very shortly. Thank you,
Awesome.
everyone.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much,
All right.
both of
Thank you.
you. Have an amazing,
Thank you.
glorious day. Bye for now.
You too. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Open Mic Spotlight Radio Show. We will be here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Mountain, and 6 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, continue to create you with joy and inspiration.